Why is this so difficult?
I get it. I'm sure there are some situations where they're not sexy. I just can't think of any. Hold it, minute. Listen, I'm really sorry. Normally we bust our asses to come up with metaphors to get tits into the show, but this show already has a shitload of breasts. But we need you. Thanks a lot, Mindy. You can get your check from Patty right over there. I feel so empty. While 43 states have laws permitting public breastfeeding, almost everywhere in this country, it's against the law to show your tits just for the hell of it. Fortunately, there are still some rebels.
A lot of people talk about us showing our breast. I'm insulted by the word show. It actually pisses me off. I said, we're not in this to show anybody anything. We're in this to free them.
Man, she is so cool. She's like Clint Eastwood with tits. Who is she?
My name is Elizabeth Book. I'm the organizer of the Top Free Stand protest here in Daytona Beach.
Stop Freedom is a national movement actively campaigning for the rights of women to go shirtless wherever men do, like at the beach, or the gym, or the Philharmonic. And it's not just some whim Liz came up with. It's a real social movement. It even has its own Wikipedia entry, as does licorice.
We call it Top Free because we don't want to be correlated to strip joints and adult entertainment. When you say topless, people, automatically their minds go that way. Top freedom it's a great adjective for freeing our breast.
Not that being topless for adult entertainment is a bad thing. I feel so much better now. I mean, we already made it. Liz and other women who advocate for top freedom believe that exposing their breasts is a form of free expression that's protected by the Constitution.
Now when I do bare my breasts in protest, it's as if I'm actually bearing them in preservation of our Constitution. And I truly feel it. I sign my correspondence Top Free in Constitutional Revolutionary Liz Book. I am a revolutionary.
So how did Elizabeth become a revolutionary? It all started here in Daytona Beach, Florida, at Biketoberfest, a huge biker rally held every year in Bike-Temper. This is the one held in 2000. I'm Pat, and this is my partner, Kellen. Relax.
Here in Daytona Beach.
So much better now. So how did Elizabeth become a revolutionary? It all started here in Daytona Beach, Florida, at Biketoberfest, a huge biker rally held every year in Bike-Temper. This is the one held in 2006. However, Elizabeth's odyssey began at Biketoberfest 2004.
One day I walked up Main Street in Daytona during Biketoberfest, and in walking maybe 6 blocks, I saw at least 6 young women handcuffed, arrested, hair down, in the alleys crying.
That is so fucking sick, but Liz didn't like it. The police told Liz that a couple hundred women have been arrested that day for flashing their tits, a violation of the decency laws of a city whose biggest industry is spring break.
I stormed all the way back to my house. I wrote up the first flyer, 1,000 women make a top free stand on Daytona Beach. Made up 100 of them, got out there with my little stapler, stuck them on telephone poles.
Hey, the tits and the staple guns, count me in. We'll see what happened with this here in a little while. But first, we need to answer
Tired of buffering? America's largest morning network can speed things up.
more than endless. Look out for them!
There.
Switch to T-Mobile, Julia.
But it isn't literally limited to speaking or using a printing press. Communication through photographs is constitutionally protected, as well as communication through symbols. Waving flags, burning flags, wearing armbands. Eugene Volokh, professor of First Amendment law at UCLA Law School.
Not only is Professor Volokh a legal genius who once clerked at the Supreme Court, he also graduated from UCLA with a degree in math and computer science at the age of, we're not kidding, 15. And that was just last year. So don't show him any tits. Okay, we're kidding about the last year part.
It is probably the case that there is no First Amendment right to expose one's breasts at all.
But Professor, if waving flags is protected, shouldn't waving tits be? I mean, the flag is just a piece of cloth, but tits for Christ's sake.
If you want to make a First Amendment argument, you've got to be trying to express something. Even Republicans who like waving the flag will recognize, oh, this one not very expressive. Most of the time, people who expose their breasts are not trying to. I mean, it's restricted not because of the necessary. Well, sometimes it's been respect as intrusive on unrules that it kind of grabs people in an erotic way that a lot of people don't like to see in public.
What's erotic is different for each person. We think this is sexy. And this too. And this. And this. It's great. Beautiful. If it bothers you, just look the other way. It's easy. What we need now is a world-renowned scholar. Someone who's made studying the breast and its history their life's work. Someone with a Ph.D.
I'm Marilyn Yalom, author of A History of the Breast and a senior scholar at the Stanford Institute for Research on Women. If you think of a Stone Age mother, she would have looked to the breast as something not only essential, but something to be venerated.
Wow! A scholar at Stanford, and she's smart.
Well, the Egyptians in ancient Egypt viewed breasts very respectfully. In fact, the goddess Isis's breasts were believed to confer divinity to the young pharaohs. During the Middle Ages, the small breast was honored and thought to be the most attractive.
Also considered hot during the Middle Ages? Women without lice.
Well, there's always been this dichotomy. You know, in 18th century England, fine ladies didn't breastfeed their kids. They farmed them out to a baby farmer, a wet nurse. It's always been an elitist thing. The breasts of the peasants are allowed to be visible, but the breasts of the fine ladies can only be glimpsed through lace or netting or the top of a corset. So it's a class thing, really. Poor breasts are okay. Rich breasts are not.
That kind of explains why no one protests naked African women in National Geographic. But as soon as Paris Hilton's nipple slips out of her dental floss dress, it's a role model destroying our youth. And what about American tit history?
Early American women were known to breastfeed publicly in the privacy of their homes and even in church.
Colonial Americans breastfed in church? That could fuck a kid up. I mean the church part. So why does anyone still get uptight about tits? Wait, maybe we should ask Dr. Howard Beller.
I think men are attracted to beautiful breasts because they are totally feminine. It is the part of the female anatomy that the man doesn't have.
Oh yeah, if you don't count the vagina, the uterus, and the gene for folding stuff. So much for fucking science. There is a serious side to breasts, and that's breast cancer. Unfortunately, not bullshit. According to the American Cancer Society, it kills roughly 40,000 women a year in the U.S. alone. Another 275,000 are diagnosed. I'd like you to meet one of them.
I was 41 years old. I'd had a mammogram
4 months before, when I was doing a breast self-exam, I found a lump in my breast. I went to my doctor.